Today, we're going to talk about a little bit of how personal development equals Valentine's Day love. Personal development, personal growth is a journey. Giving yourself or someone else love is a journey. You don't just do it once. It's the journey of it. There's no destination. Yeah, there's milestones, but it's something we continuously do. So personal growth, I want to get into the ways that it's like that. In the first, when you do personal development, when you're here, when you're investing your time, your energy, your mental focus, whenever you personal development and invest in your well-being, you're taking time and effort to understand yourself, to understand your strengths, to understand where you're okay, understand where some of your weaknesses are. And when you can do that, when you can take time to invest in your well-being, what you're doing is you're not only taking a deeper look into yourself and figuring out where yourself can get better, you're prioritizing that. You're prioritizing yourself. You're taking time to look inwardly, do some introspection and figure yourself out. And when you do that, you take time to look at where you need to physically improve, mentally improve, spiritually improve, emotionally improve. When you take time to do that, see where your limitations are. That's why I always ask people, 1 to 10, where do you feel? So you get kind of a grade of where you're at, and you write that in your journal, and afterwards you go back and you figure out how you can raise that by 1% or even a 0.5%. Somewhere you can do something little to improve, boost that grade, because that's what's going to help you enrich the quality of life, get even better, help those around you, honor those who came before you. When you can do that, and when you do that, you're giving yourself self-love. You're taking yourself, almost going outside yourself, looking in and saying, where can I get better? And when you do that, you're prioritizing yourself, personal growth, personal development. When you prioritize that, that's a way of giving yourself Valentine's Day and every other single day love. Second thing I want to talk about, prioritizing self-care. When you prioritize your self-care, this is an essential aspect of loving yourself. When you prioritize it, you're saying to yourself that, hey, I matter. Despite what everything else going on in the world, I am going to show myself that love and respect of prioritizing how I'm going to get better. When I take time and block time in my calendar, that is prioritizing your moment in your life at that time. You have all these other obligations, all these other things in your calendar that you said, okay, I've got to prioritize this. This has to get done. When you do that to self-care, something that so many people talk about but don't do, you are honoring yourself and in tune honoring all those that came before you and all those around you to prioritize that. That's key in honoring and giving and showing yourself that love. Very, very important that we do this and understand this, that it's much more than just taking a journal, writing numbers down, figuring out how you can get better. No. This is showing yourself and giving yourself love. When you give people candy, you give people flowers, you give people presents, you give people your time and energy and focus. When you do that, you're prioritizing them. Same thing's true with yourself. Give yourself those gifts, and that is showing yourself a great foundational level of love. Next, we're going to talk about cultivating self-compassion. Inside personal development, when you look at yourself, when you look at things you're good at, but you're also looking at your flaws, things that may be unbecoming, things that may be a little embarrassing, things that you know that are your shortcomings that we all have. When you look at that and you acknowledge that that's there, first of all, that's an act of courage, because so many people don't want to look that. They want to put up blinders and look everywhere else. But when you do that, you prioritize your self-compassion. You're giving yourself compassion to who you are as a person. You're understanding that, hey, yes, these are there. This is who I am. I acknowledge that. I'm not embarrassed about them. I acknowledge that they're there. But now I'm going to actually look at them, focus in there, and figure out what are the things, what are the strategies, what are the things I can add into my life, what are the things maybe I can study that's going to help improve this area of your life. When you do that and you give yourself that self-compassion without judgment, you're approaching them with kindness, with understanding, with prioritization, with a focus. When you do that, man, you're giving yourself a great piece of love and compassion. Because, it's easy to judge yourself. It's easy to talk down to yourself. It's easy to have negative dialogue. We all have it. That's why I do trainings on this, about a whole training and steps and strategies about how to enrich the language, the questions you ask yourself internally, because so many people have a scale that's way more negative than positive, and we need to continuously do this. It's never going to be perfect, but again, those small steps make all the difference. But when you can do that, acknowledge your flaws, shortcomings, instead of coming at them with judgment, you are giving yourself great compassion. The next thing we want to talk about is setting boundaries. This is personal development love. I hope you guys are enjoying this inside the chat. This isn't something, yes, I understand it's Valentine's Day, and this is something that may belabor the point a little bit, but I want everybody here to understand, everybody watching, to understand how important that doing personal development, personal growth is in your life. That's why ultimately I want to make it a lifestyle, 365, where this is just part of our life. Same thing with working out. I do it all the time. I do take a day off if I need it, because rest and recovery is part of that. And just like rest and recovery should be a part of your life, whether it's working out or not, but you want to make that a lifestyle, a much better way to live. And it's a great way to show yourself that self-love, that you care about your physical well-being. You care about the energy you show up with. You care about investing in yourself now, so you're not down the road paying for it later, because you're going to pay either way. You either pay now or later. When you're laid up, you're sick, you're in the hospital, or something has to get taken care of, you're paying for it then. A lot worse amount of payments. But when you can add this into your daily rhythm, your weekly rhythm, man, you are setting yourself up to win, and you're showing yourself such an abundance of love when you do this. This isn't small fries, people. Personal growth and development is major. Whether you have at the end of your life set up time blocks for you to do this is major. If you understand that and continue to cultivate compassion, self-care, well-being, you start setting up different things in your life that enhances it, man, that's such a game changer. Architecting your life, designing, building a blueprint is major. This is so, so, so important. Can't stress that enough. Serious. Big difference between somebody who has their life carved out, doing personal development, on the field of life, kicking ass, taking names, building championship teams, leaving legacies, and those that are not. Because one thing that I know is we all have regrets in our life. One of them I do not want to be is saying that I did not set up time blocks. I did not love myself enough, show myself enough love to do this personal development work behind the scenes. I do not want to say that, because I know regret weighs tons at the end of your life. Yes, doing the disciplines of self-development, that can be work. That could be taxing sometimes. You may not feel like it all the time, but it's such a difference between that level of effort and the discomfort you have to go through to do that versus having tons, elephant tons, building tons of regret at the end of your life, and end up like those thousands of people that one of the top 5 regrets is not doing this. Don't want to be there. So I just want to take that time to show how serious this really is, how serious this should be in your life. The next one is setting boundaries. I hope that made sense to you. I hope that served you. Setting boundaries. In your own life, we want to set up boundaries. We want to make sure that we are giving ourselves that love. I always talk about standing guard at the doors of your mind. There's so many attacks coming in. But when you can set up boundaries in your relationships, boundaries in your situations, you're giving yourself love and saying, listen, this isn't what I'm going to allow to infiltrate and destroy and rattle my life anymore. I'm going to set up a boundary because I have that self-love and respect for myself. When you give yourself that respect, you're showing a great deal of love to yourself, and you're letting other people know that, hey, you can't attack me and my values like that. You have to be a little more careful, a little less, you can't be so loose with certain things around me because of my self-respect and honor that I give myself. We could set up boundaries in our life. We give ourselves a great advantage. We give ourselves, when we prioritize your needs and values, you're showing love, you're safeguarding yourself, and you're protecting your mental, emotional, physical, spiritual well-being. You're putting up a little force field around that when you set up those boundaries. Very important that we understand this, first of all, but that we do that. We must continue to set up boundaries. Next, we want to talk about embracing change. Personal development, personal growth is a journey. A lot of times that involves you stepping out of your comfort zone, doing some introspection and looking at all the flaws, or looking at your life and saying, am I doing this correctly? Am I on my A game, or am I a little nudged off? Do I need to get a little bit back? What do I need to do to make sure that I'm growing? And again, growth isn't easy all the time. We know that. I know you know that. But making sure we can, what's even worse is staying in your comfort zone, not moving, just staying on the couch, watching that next series, not doing any personal growth and development, living in your comfort zone, which is a great, comfortable place to be, but not much grows there. So when you embrace that change, embrace getting out of your comfort zone, you are showing yourself a great deal of love. You're saying, I trust myself. I give myself that love, trust, and respect that I know I can make it past this, that I know I need to move out of this because that next level is awaiting for me. I know I'm here for more. I know there's another level. When you have trust and faith in that, you're showing yourself a great deal of love when you do that. You're showing yourself that you are committed to your own personal fulfillment, to your own personal growth. That is a great show and sign of love and respect. Next, we're going to talk about celebrating progress. Personal growth, a lot of small victories. As we went over, there's an elusive obvious to it. Some of them are so small, they're hard to see. But when we can celebrate that, and again, it doesn't have to be a big, huge celebration. Micro celebrations are just as important, even if it's just taking a moment to give yourself a high five, pat yourself on the back, whatever it is, those micro celebrations matter. Very, very important that we do this. So many people skip over the small things and say, I've heard that before, but guess what? That's what the amateur does, what the masters do in this thing called life, in this game of life. When you're mastering, talking about self-mastery and greatness, the greats always say, thanks for the reminder. That's the difference. Such a slim difference sometimes between good and great. We saw, if anybody watched the Super Bowl over the past weekend, but again, if you look back at that film and you break everything down, there's such minute details that declared one a champion and one not, one runner-up. Just like in life, there's so many small things that make us up, that add to our day, that make up our day, and we need to make sure we're doing those small micro celebrations to say, hey, I see you, I honor you, I understand there's things you do. It might not be huge all the time, but I see you. I send love to you. I celebrate that to you. Great way to show love in your personal growth and development. That recognition, that self-recognition, very important. And it builds and fosters an even greater relationship with yourself. Very important that we do that. And finally, we talk about honoring your potential. Each person has different passions. Each person has different talents, different dreams, different makeups that make us who we are. And when we can honor that, we can go after our big dreams, we're honoring not only ourselves, we're honoring our future self. We're honoring our potential. We're saying that, hey, I might not have all the skills and abilities right now, but I'll damn sure have it in a couple of years, weeks, months, days, whatever it is. I'm going to be that. I'm not going to be the same person I was in 2024, 2025, 7, 2030. We're lucky to still be here. I'm not going to be the same person. I'm going to continually get better. And when you can honor that potential, you're honoring yourself, you're showing love, you're saying, hey, I know there's more. I know you have more in you. I know that you matter more and you're going to matter more in the future than you ever will. There's more to you. I see more in you. I see more greatness in you. I want to call out more of that greatness in you. When you can do that and honor that, man, not only are you honoring yourself, but you're honoring the deliberate design of your creator. You're honoring all those who came before you. You're honoring all those who came after you. And that is a great way. Personal development, personal growth is showing love to not only you, but everybody around you. It's like putting a big love bubble over your entire life when you do that. I wanted to go over these 7 bullet points now so you understand how important self-development is. How on this day, how on these days, this day, you are showing yourself an enormous, gargantuan, gigantic amount of love when you do this for your mental health, emotional health, safeguarding, fulfillment, honoring those, the recognition, self-recognition, your relationship with yourself, recognizing that you deserve a life that aligns with your true self, recognizing that you deserve a life that you design, that you deserve to feel that level of love and to feel the abundance all around you, and you can be the one to give it to yourself. You don't have to wait for life or other people to give that love and respect and acknowledge all the time. You should be the one doing it. I said in one of my previous teachings that in athletics, we understand when we retire, when we leave the game, a lot of the applause and the claps and cheers and the newspaper running up to you and interviewing, all that comes to an end. But the one thing that can't come to an end, the one thing that we need to continuously get better at is showing yourself that love, to cheer for yourself, to give those claps to yourself, to give that recognition to yourself, to make sure that you are honoring the design, honoring the journey, and honoring yourself in a powerful way. Showing love is one of the most powerful emotions on the planet, one of the most powerful forces on the planet. You're not giving yourself chocolate and candy here. You're giving yourself love, one of the most powerful things we can give. And one of the ways, the best ways to do it, to your own personal development. You being here is showing yourself an amazing, powerful form of self-love. So I want to thank you again for being here, for raising your hand, for giving yourself that love, for investing, prioritizing, cultivating, setting boundaries, embracing the change, celebrating the process, and honoring your potential. We all know that we have more inside. They always talk about reaching your full potential, but how do you do that? Right here, baby. This is how you do that. By becoming aware, first step. Second step, by getting the game plan and setting up those small incremental steps to allow you to win the game of life. This isn't practice session. This is full participants. We're all in the Super Bowl of our own life here, and we need to make sure we're giving ourselves the most powerful ingredient that we can. That is self-love. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. I hope you found that valuable. I have so much more amazing content videos coming, and I don't want you to miss out. So subscribe. If you want some more awesome videos, you can check those out. Until I see you again in the next one, keep going out there, hunting your greatness inside and out.